when you open up AutoCAD, in this particular view that we have over here on the screen, I have the ability to obviously draw things as I would like. So let me just go ahead and draw a rectangle if my computer ever starts working. There we go. I think you guys, your white will work fine, or should I make it yellow? I think yellow might work a bit better. Okay, so that particular line is currently residing in a layer, and the current layer you can see here in the layer group is layer 0. Okay, so that's where this particular thing is. So let me now draw maybe a circle. I'd like that to also be yellow. And maybe I'd like to do some other polyline shape. Close. Okay, so I'm going to make this all a different color as well. Let's go and make that green. Can you see the green? Not really. Anyway, best of luck. So let me quickly use the hatch function, because maybe that's going to be useful as well. So just to remind ourselves how the hatch works. Hatch, I'm going to pick a point. So the pick point is default, as I mentioned to you. I'm going to go with solid, and I'm going to go with a color. Let's go with green. And I'm going to hatch that piece there. This is like old school paint, like the first thing you do, huh? Okay. There we go. So I've now created this image, and everything that I've drawn is on the same layer. It's on one layer. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put these items onto different layers, so I can show you then how to switch them on and off. Okay, so in order to create different layers, I need to go to the layer manager, which is this button over here, layer properties. And when I do that, an interface comes up, a GUI, and you will see that on this interface, currently there is only one layer, layer 0. And it's active. You can tell it's active because it has a little green tick next to it. So that's the one that's currently in use. So I'm going to go ahead now and create 4 new layers. I'm going to start off by creating layer A. Can I do it another way? Can I do it, go Control N? No, that didn't work so well. So let's try this again. Layer B. Should do one more. Hey, come on. What's next? Layer D, huh? Are we okay with that? Did you see it was quite easy to do? Wasn't so hard? Alright, now please take note, to the right hand side of this pane, there is a button that says on, and then it has little light bulbs. So when the light bulb is on, then I can see everything that's in that layer. If the light bulb is off, then the lights are turned off and I can't see anything. The one to the right of that is the freeze command. Now the freeze one will keep a layer off even if it's shown as on. So it actually locks that layer, not locks it down, but freezes it so you can't interact with it. And then the lock is an even more secure version of freezing that layer, so you can't edit it, you can't delete it. It stays exactly as it is, it's locked down. To the right of that we have color options, and the color options are quite interesting because you can choose a color or you can choose it to be by layer. So everything in that layer will be a certain color, for example. Line weights, as you know, are the different kinds of line styles that I can use. Line types, plot styles. Now this is the very interesting one. This is one you're going to use in your test. So if I click on this one and I say do not plot, it means that although it's on and active, what's on that layer won't print out of your printer. So you typically put your viewport, you set your viewport in its own layer and you set it not to print, which means in your paper layout environment you will see the boundary of the viewport, but when you print it won't be there. Okay, so you won't see that particular line. So let me go ahead and create another one, which is going to be Viewport, just for the sake of completeness, and I'll set it, that was the wrong button, not to print. Now, something that you guys need to take very careful note of is that often when you send me your drawings or your PDFs, then I can't see things, and that's because you've come here and you've fiddled with layers and things, and then you've actually turned them off or frozen them or set them not to print, and then you lose marks because obviously I can't manage it. If I move further and further to the right, I think there are other options which can be included, but these are the ones that we use 90% of the time. Good, so you saw how I created them. I'm going to select layer A and I'm going to set it current. How do I do that? I'm just going to double click on it and you'll see the arrow now is on layer A. Good. Let me go ahead and close that now. I'm now going to put different things in different layers. I'm going to show you how to do that. This is one way of doing it. It's not necessarily the best way of doing it, but it's the way that I do it. Okay. So I'm going to select everything that I want to be in one layer. And you can see here I've selected two objects. One is hatch and one is a polyline. And you can see layer currently, it's in layer 0. I'm going to choose there and I'm going to put it in layer A. Now I'm going to choose my circle and I'm going to put that in layer B. I'm going to choose my rectangle and I'm going to put that, guess where? No, I'm going D. Ha! Fooled you. Okay. So now I have all these different things. So watch what happens now. If I go to my layer drop-down menu, and you can see here I have 0, A, B, C, D. If I switch off layer A, keep the current in, you see that particular thing disappears. Okay. It still exists, it's just switched off. So if I switch it back on again, then it's back. So I can, of course, switch off the object in layer D, and you can see now what's missing. The rectangle is missing. I can turn the circle off as well, because that's in layer B. Switch that off, and I can't see the circle. Okay, so that's how the layer command works. Now, in our civil engineering drawings, we do all things that fit together in separate layers. So the S4 project students now are busy doing a service design, which means water, stormwater, roads, and sewer and properties. Each one of those things gets drawn in its own layer. And then once it's drawn in its own layer, then I can import that information into Civil Designer, which will look for things in specific layers. So if I want to do a water network design, then I'll put all my water pipes in one layer. I'll import my drawing into Civil Designer, and then I'll say, where are the water pipes? The water pipes are in the water pipe layer. And then it will extract the water pipes from that layer. Now the beauty of that is you can keep everything neat and tidy. If you want to create multiple layouts, showing one services or two services, you can switch some on and switch some off. And that's really the gist of how we're going to be operating. Now I want to just do one more thing, which is to show you how the viewport story works. So I'm going to go to layout, and you can see now currently that this is my viewport. What layer is it in at the moment? It's in layer A. Everything new that is created will now be in layer A because layer A is my current layer. So I'm going to change this and I'm going to put it into the viewport. And remember, a viewport was set not to print. Let's check and make sure about that. Can I see it from here? No, I can't see it there. Let's go down here, and you can see there, viewport, not printing. All right, now let me go ahead and set up my page so we can get ready to plot. Page Setup Manager. Just make sure everything's fine. So plot style, we know how to install this plot style now. Got 113 views on that video, so I hope somebody knows how to do it. ISO A4 layout. Some people had to watch it twice. Drawing to PDF. Okay. So I'm now going to go to the preview of that image. Notice how the viewport block is missing now. It's not going to print out. Let me exit. Close. Now I'm going to go ahead and do something, which is to draw in another rectangle. So maybe I'm going to draw in a rectangle over there. So this rectangle now is not my viewport. It's just a border, and it's drawn in paper space in layer A. If I now want to print that, you'll see that that particular border is visible. So what that means is you can create a viewport that is much larger than your screen and shows many things, like a whole bunch of curves, for example. And then you can draw individual rectangles around those various curves to create sort of a multi-view print of something that you're going to do, maybe at different scales even. Okay, so that's really all I wanted to show you in terms of that.